But anyway, our guest is here. I don't want to keep him waiting, so let's bring him on right now. He is one of the preeminent young stars in the independent scene today, out of, I believe, Massachusetts, certainly New England, and he's going to be part of the ECWA Super 8 tournament March 14th in Morganville, New Jersey. Tickets and information, ecwawrestling.com. Joining us right now, DJ Powers. DJ, how you doing, man? Good
Going
to have
on? How
you
are
on.
you?
Doing really well.
First podcast. Super excited.
I'm so sorry. Now we'll have some fun with it. For those who aren't familiar, maybe just start off. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I am from New England, indie professional wrestler, obviously. Wrestling's always been kind of a part of my life. I'm second gen, so my dad wrestled a little bit on the indies before I was born. So wrestling, I never had that like one match or show that kind of was like, oh, I like wrestling now. It's just kind of been there my whole life, and yeah, it's wrestling's pretty much my life. I have nothing else going on for me right now, so.
Well, you know what? You're certainly about to jump into the deep end. Some of the names that have been in the ECWA Super 8 tournament over the years, it make your head spin, honestly. And I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of the guys and girls that have competed in the tournament. Was Super 8 something like, was that a checklist kind of thing for you? Was that something that you kind of always wanted to get involved with?
Yeah, I remember thinking about it. I remember hearing it like the first couple years that I started training. Channing Thomas, I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Sure.
He was started at the same, or was at the school when I started at the Lockup Wrestling Academy. And I remember seeing him in it, which got me familiar with it. And then I saw, like you said, the names in it, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I'd love to do that. And then I reached out, I applied for it, and here we are.
All right. Now, is there anybody, and I know only a few of the names have been announced, but is there anybody in particular that like you saw and you thought like, man, I'd love to kind of lock horns with that guy?
I'm trying to think. I believe two. I know TJ Crawford and Miles Hawkins, I
Yes.
believe it is.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with the other two, but I've wrestled TJ multiple times. So maybe Miles Hawkins, I think that would be good.
Okay. And so again, you know, we're talking with DJ Powers. He's a pretty new wrestler. And you're what, like 20 years old at this point?
20.
I mean, you're pretty young to this. How would you describe your style? Like your in-ring approach?
Good question. I kind of like to mix everything. You know, like I want to be able to wrestle anybody with any style. So I don't try and focus on one specific style. I try to focus on everything so I can have a great match with anybody with any style, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. What sort of wrestlers did you emulate? Like, you know, did you watch when you were younger?
I mean, obviously, when I was younger, like, I didn't look at wrestling like I do now. So it was like the John Cenas, the Edges, those kind of people.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say today, like, it's more like it's funny how like when you're younger you watch wrestling so differently, like because now I'm watching a bunch of like Macho Mans and Shawn Michaels and Bret Harts, and
Right.
it's definitely like you look at it so differently.
It's funny because I've been going to Super 8s longer than you're alive, if you can believe that. But it's an amazing thing to kind of like, because like me, I was a fan, you know, in the early 90s through like the 2000s and everything. But like for me, if you talked about 70s wrestling, it would be something that like, oh, that felt like so long ago, you know? And now what I'm talking about, that would be like history to you. And I find that fascinating. I really do. But it sounds like you're a student of the game. So
For sure.
you probably have a leg up on a lot of the guys that are in the tournament.
I'm trying.
How's training been? Is it difficult?
No, it's so I wrestled 172 matches last year.
Wow. Okay.
Just a year. Yeah. So I've been wrestling a lot of like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it's been hard to like keep up with training Tuesday, Wednesday, because like, you know, I think to myself, I'm 20 years old, and if I'm bumping 7 days a week, like I'm not gonna. By the time I'm 25, I'm not gonna be able to do it anymore. So it's been fine. I'm kind of like sporadic with training. Like sometimes I'll go to the Beyond Wrestling School, or I'll go to like Chaotic with like Anthony Green and Dijak. So I'm occasionally dropping in different places, but I wouldn't use the word hard. No,
Okay. Okay.
stressful more.
Would you say stressful?
Stressful more. Just
Yeah,
trying to
I
figure
could.
out like, all right, when do I need a break and when do I not? You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's a really cool thing to see young guys kind of come up in the business, and like you said, you've been doing this for a year or two now, and have a decent amount of experience for being 20 years old. I think that's great. What sort of goals do you kind of have for yourself in your career? Have you kind of like sat down and thought about what you want to accomplish?
Yeah, for this year, I've never been flown out anywhere, so that I think is my number one goal.
Okay,
Is that to have someone fly me out somewhere. Um, it's pretty much that, and just put on size, get bigger, get better. Obviously, end goals, a television contract, but I try not to like focus up on that right now because I it gets in my head a lot. So I'm this year is my biggest goal is to get flown out and kind of not focus on getting that contract or getting signed. Just kind of focus on myself and getting better
sure.
and just taking it day by day.
Question from one of the listeners: if you could give yourself advice when you were first starting out, what advice would you give yourself?
Um, just to shut up and listen.
Okay.
Shut up and listen. When you start it, I mean, I started at 16, 17.
Wow. Okay.
I already had a like experience with wrestling. I had a wrestling ring at my house since I was about 7 years old
Oh
because
my
of my
God.
dad. Yeah. So I've been kind of like in a wrestling ring my whole life. So when I started training, it was kind of like easier for me than other people. And at such a young age, I feel like that kind of got to my head. And if I could give myself advice, it would just be to shh and just listen and be humble.
Very cool. Now, have you had that kind of like, because if you've had a ring in your house and you've been fooling around with it since you were so young, like, have you had that scary experience yet? Like, have you had where you thought like, oh my God, like I might have really messed myself up here or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's one story that comes to mind. I don't know how old I was. I was below 10 years old.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
remember one night I was in there with my dad, and our so this was at our old house. So the wrestling room was in a barn, so it was a concrete floor.
Ooh.
And I was at a height where I couldn't run the ropes with the top rope. Like I had to like run them like Rey Mysterio, like through the bottom. And I
Right.
remember I was just running them one night and I slipped and fell and went head first on the concrete. And I remember like getting up, and my dad obviously was like in shock. And I remember looking at him, he was like, "Are you okay?" And like trying to be the tough kid in front of your dad. I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Yeah. All good.
And then he kind of walked out and I just lost it. And I was like, that was scary.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. But that's yeah. Yeah, there's experiences that you're learning young. Like a lot of people get them at a later age.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. So one of the listeners wants to know, what is your favorite promotion or town to wrestle in?
Promotion or town? Oh, there's so many right now. I mean, I think from a personal standpoint, Pro Wrestling Super Show in Brockton, which
Okay.
is owned by Ryan Waters. He was my is still is my trainer. He was a head trainer at the lockup when I started, more of like a mentor. But Brockton is also like 20 minutes away from my house, so it's kind of like that home promotion, if you would say. I'm
Okay.
currently their heavyweight champion there, so that place definitely means a lot to me. But then there's places like Wrestling Open, who give me a booking every single week, 2 weeks, and now they're doing Wrestling Open in Rhode Island on Mondays. So they're giving me two bookings every
Okay.
single week, and so many opportunities, so many good matches. So there's a lot of places. Chaotic Wrestling, another one who kind of gave me a spot there, and I ran with it, and no, they've been nothing but good to me. So
Very cool. Now, is Super 8, is that your first time in New Jersey?
Yes, actually, yeah, it is. First time.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Well, the crowd is interesting. I think you'll have some fun with it, though. It's definitely a family show, a lot of kids. So,
Yeah.
a lot of opportunity there. But yeah, no, I think I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. And I think the Super 8 obviously being 3 matches all in one night. I mean, ideally it's 3 matches. It's a bit of a physical challenge. Do you feel like you're up for that? The 3
Absolutely.
matches in one night? Okay.
I've done that before, actually. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. How'd that work out?
It was the Top Rope Promotions. What was it called? The Kowalski Cup. So it was another
Okay.
tournament wise, and I was in the first round match, won that, won the second one, and then was in the main event, a triple threat, and then won that one. So had the experience.
Okay. Now we are very lucky. I'm going to put him on the spot right now. We're lucky enough to have WCW veteran, the Maestro, with us. And so Maestro Rob Kellum is here. And I know, like, he's told me before, like, he gets a kick out of, like, talking to these young kind of up and coming guys. Maestro, any advice that you would give DJ Powers heading into this kind of a tournament?
Oh, just keep doing what you're doing. Get all the experience you can. Take care of yourself, number one, physically and mentally, and just through the good days and bad, just keep persevering and push forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. So DJ, before you go, let me ask you what your social media presence, like if people want to learn more about you, follow along at home with what you've got going on, like where can they go?
Instagram is DJ Powers Wrestle. I believe Twitter is the same thing.
Okay,
as well as TikTok. I do post TikToks too, so they're all pretty much DJ Powers Wrestle is where you can find me.
cool. Very cool. Now, before we let you go, would it be all right if I got you to record a bumper that we would play on the beginning of the show?
Yeah, of course.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so the name of the show is In the Room. If you could just tell people, remind them who you are, remind them that they're listening to In the Room, and that way we can play it long after you're big and famous and forgot about us. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll do a countdown then if you're ready. Just however you want to.
In the room.
In the room. Yep.
Cool.
Ready? 3, 2.
What's going on, guys? This is DJ Powers, the undeniable DJ Powers, and you are listening to In the Room.
Undeniable. Hey, best of luck, man, and I'll be seeing you in a little over a month.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. There you have it. DJ Powers out of Massachusetts. Undeniable. ECWA Super 8 tournament, March 14th.